Alright, what's up? I'm Ayan. In this video, we are going to be talking about Wintoys, which is the one utility app that you need to optimize your Windows experience to the maximum level. For this, you have to go to this link or check this app in Microsoft Store and download it for yourself. Let's open up this app. This can help you get your maximum performance alongside privacy and better options, everything that you need. So here we are in this app. This is the home page of this app, and if you go to settings, you can see we got some options that if you change something and don't want to undo the changes, you can do that from here. So the home section is where you get the information about your laptop or Windows PC. As you can see, this is the model number, processor, graphics, and uptime as well as performance. If you want to run benchmark, you can do that right from here, which I am not going to do today. So what do we need to do is go to the second section, which is the apps section. So in apps, you get all the apps that are currently installed, including the bloatware apps, and you can simply right click on them and uninstall those apps. Let's go ahead and check some apps. These are all, refresh it. You can change them to sort them by this modern and classic. I don't know what this means. There should be an option like Windows own apps and the user installed apps, but what can we do? If you right click on some apps like Windows Security, you cannot uninstall them because those are the core functions of Windows. So some apps that can be installed, you should uninstall them if they are not useful to you. I actually already have uninstalled some useless apps, so I only have those apps installed that I use. You can see these are the apps that I normally use on my laptop. So these are installed and I am not going to uninstall any of this app. Actually, whenever I set up my laptop, I actually install Windows and uninstall all those apps that I do not need, including Copilot and other useless apps. So let's just filter it by all. This will give you the list of all the apps that are installed on it. So let's go to another section, which is the services section. So these are the services that are always running in the background. This is, you can see the filter list. It is filtered by running. So these services are currently running on my laptop and I actually have no idea what these services do, so I'm just not going to change anything at all. If you filter by useless services, these are the services that you don't use or might want to stop. You can change the modes to set them automatic or manual, however you like, depends on your use case. If you know what you're doing, you can definitely mess with these settings, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this settings. So moving on to you can actually disable some services, and I actually want to enable the time one. Let's see, you can even search for what this service do. Whatever, this is my favorite section, the performance section. So in this section, you can get your maximum performance by doing some changes here. First option is the ultimate power plan option, which means if you turn this on, let me show you. Actually, I already turned that on because I use this app regularly. So if you turn this on, if you hover on the switch, it always gives you that it is recommended to turn this setting on. So you can go along with the recommended. So no need to change anything at all. Just follow the recommended options and you are good to go if you do not know what you are doing. So you can further change this power plan, but I am not going to change it because I already have done that. So this is the hacks section, and this option is grayed out, which means it is not being used. So if you hover it on the VBS, you can see it is recommended to turn this setting off. So I'm gonna keep this switch off and not going to do anything at all. Let's move on to our next section. These are the startup apps that always start whenever you reboot your system. So always turn off all of these apps. Here we go. So the next option, we have the relaunch apps, that it is recommended to turn this setting off. So I'm just gonna keep it off, and recommended to turn this off. Let's off it. Recommended setting is off, so off. Now you can see we have an option to reboot your system. Some settings require you to restart your Windows system, so I do not recommend that you do it just yet. You can see it is recommended to turn these settings off, so I'm just gonna keep these visual settings off. If you have a very low end PC, so you can turn on those settings. I will completely follow the recommended stuff, because that's the best way to do if you do not know what you are doing or messing with. Now here we have some settings. Search indexing recommendation is off, so turn this setting off as well. We have some driver options and delivery optimization, and this is the on networks network card processing. Yep, recommended settings is off. I did not know what that function does, but still recommended options are good. So in the health section we got some options which will maximize the health of your Windows system, so just follow the recommended options, like turn off the fast boot and hibernation options. If you have low storage, you can follow this cleanup. This will help you clean some storage and get some extra MBs or GBs depending on how much junk files you have. Freed from these temporary files, Windows Update and other optimization or temporary stuff. I am not going to do anything at all on this section. You can clear File Explorer history, clear cache and flush DNS and delete system restore, but cleanup section is not for you if you do not know what you are doing. So next up we have drive optimization. The recommendation is on, so keep this switch on. The for storage sense it is turned on, so on. The next option we have is the battery report. So if you are using a laptop and want to know the battery health, you can simply click on generate and go to your desktop. There will be the battery report. You can open this up and it will open up in the browser, and you can see your battery health right from here. As you can see, the design capacity and the full charge capacity is different, which means I have lost about 50% of my laptop's battery health, which is very not good because my charge cycle is very bad. I always keep my laptop plugged in while gaming and other stuff, so the battery health is compromised on my laptop about 50%, which is pretty bad, as you can see. So for repair settings, not going to do anything at all there. For memory diagnostic, nothing going to do. I'm just gonna, if you have bought your laptop, you can use these tools to check your memory diagnostics. For Windows Update, we get some 4 options that you can keep it as default, change it to manual, or you can get those security updates only. You can even disable your Windows updates completely, but I do not recommend that you do anything at all. Just keep it to default and check your updates regularly. So the next options that I have are graphics driver, that I can restart my graphic drivers and rebuild icons. If you have anything wrong with that, you can do that. So next favorite section is the tweaks section. This is my favorite one because I always use this. I don't think I can use my laptop without this tweak option. Let me delete this battery report. As you can see, I do not have this PC on my laptop's desktop, so I'm just gonna turn this option on, and now I have this PC directly on my desktop, and whenever I double click it, it brings me to this PC from File Explorer, which is good in case you want to access your this PC all the time. Recycle bin is already on. Let me just empty my recycle bin. If you do not want recycle bin, you can turn this off. We have widgets. I do not want widgets, so I'm gonna turn this off. And next you can see we have some shortcut arrows right on the icons of the desktop, which are sometimes not good looking, so I actually going to turn them off. And now you can see this setting did not apply. This setting will only apply whenever you restart your PC. We're gonna check. I will show you later. First I will change all those settings and restart my system, and you will see. So this is the drop shadow. I'm gonna keep it as it is, and show desktop button. Yep, sometimes I think that is useful. The preview pane, I'm gonna keep it as it is, and some classic context menu. Yeah, as you can see, I right click on it and I get the Windows 11 new option, and we have to go show more options to get the classic one. So I'm just gonna turn this setting on, and whenever I restart my system, I will get this, not this, I will only get the classic one by default without having to double click or pressing dual keys at all. So for startup menu, I'm gonna turn off both of these options because, honestly, those are very annoying. I do not want internet search. I only want to search stuff that is already on my laptop, not from the internet. So turn both of these settings on, off. I will always turn everything that is under the starts menu. For File Explorer, we need to change some things. Like, I'm gonna change some stuff right here. I do not want the classic interface. I actually want the tab menu, so I'm not gonna turn this setting on. Let's see, what do we need. Now gonna keep it as it is. If you don't know what you're doing, just keep those settings by default like I am doing. Yep, recycle bin. As you can see, whenever you open the File Explorer, you do not get the recycle bin right from here. If you turn this setting on and restart your File Explorer, let me close it and open it up again. Now you get the recycle bin directly from your File Explorer, and you do not have to go to desktop again and again to access your recycle bin. These two options are very annoying, the home and gallery option. I don't know why Microsoft added these two options in your File Explorer in Windows 11, so I'm just gonna turn off both of these options. Let me close and open up the File Explorer again, and both of them are now gone. But still, whenever I open File Explorer, I get this home section, so I'm just gonna change this right from here. So whenever I open up the File Explorer, it will automatically go into this PC instead of going to home. You can actually change it to downloads folder, but this PC is the one that I use personally. So these are the settings that I do using Wintoys, and these settings are for File Explorer. So privacy settings, very good. Turn everything off by default. If not turned off by default, turn them off manually. For ads, turn everything off. These are my recommended settings. I always turn off privacy and ads options, so I get the maximum privacy and zero ads from Microsoft. Okay, so this is no need for clock, and turning this option on will give you the clipboard history. You can access clipboard history by Windows plus V, which I do not need feedback notifications. I need to turn this off. Yep, actually I do not want any tabs from Microsoft Edge as well. So no tabs are good. Yep, nothing to change here. You can do however you like. These are my settings that I always do on my laptop. Okay, if you are a super user or power user like me, you will love these options, but I'm not going to change anything at all. These are some spotlight images that you get from Windows Spotlight. So nothing to change here. These are the settings that I normally do. Now I'm going to reboot my system to apply those settings, like the classic context menu for right clicking and no more show arrows. So now I have restarted my system. Now you can see if I do not have arrows, shortcut arrows on my icons, and whenever I right click on it, I will get the classic context menu. However, if you do not wish to have these settings and do you want to undo all those settings, there is a way. All you have to do is go to your Wintoys, go to settings, and you will see there is a restoration option. Simply click on it and confirm. all the settings that you used are now back to your default. So just reboot your system and you will get the classic Windows 11 without any options by Wintoys.